Hi guys, welcome in. It's Tracy with, where are we at now? I have so many channels going. We are at Sacred Souls Ascension. This is my second, actually technically third or fourth channel, but two that I've been contributing to. The other two have kind of been put on hiatus. But welcome in. I am here today to do a quick energy check-in for Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. And I'll pull you down, the camera down here in a minute. I'm feeling called to come to the table today simply because, well, I work with a lot of twin flames, Divine Masculine, actually Divine Feminines for the most part. Is who I've been working with. And my phone's been blowing up. And there's clients that are going through some very extreme purges. Now, if you don't know what a purge is by now, then you're either really resistant to the transformation that twin flame journey brings, and that happens. I've got clients that really are hard in their divine or their distorted masculine energies. I do believe they're divine feminines, but they're in distorted masculine energy, where they were raised in a situation where crying made you weak, or you know, sense of responsibility is disproportioned, and I don't know where that word came from, but that's what came to mind. So it's out of proportion, right? It just feels to me, because you know we all have divine masculine, divine feminine within us, but it feels to me that some divine feminines are really going through a lot of pain and grieving because they've been in distorted masculine energy, and right now the masculine energy is going through a lot. And so it doesn't matter whether you resonate with being a divine feminine or a divine masculine. If you're sitting in distorted masculine energy, the universe is testing the masculine energy right now, awakening it. And so you could be a divine feminine that resonates with being a divine feminine. You know, I mean, you know that you're a divine feminine. But if you've been sitting in distorted masculine energy where you are everything, you know, like I am a hard worker, I am the breadwinner, I am the one that brings home the bacon, I am the one that's responsible for all the duties, for the lawn mowing. And if you're really sitting in the masculine energy of being the action-oriented person in distortion. Now, what do I mean by distortion? Out of balance, that's what I mean. Where you can't soften your approach to life for fear, because of fear, right? Because of trauma, because of childhood trauma or past relationship trauma, where you've decided that you can't trust a man to show up for you in the ways that you deserve, and so you become the man, and not only show up for yourself, but show up for everybody else in that distorted masculine energy. And so if this sounds like you, I feel like this reading is for you. It's not just one client of mine. I've had like 5 of them, and all of them are divine feminines. They're in separation from their divine masculine, but they're really sitting in their they have become their own masculine, right? In distortion. Oh God, it's hard to articulate. It's hard to talk about in a way that might make sense to you. But see, I resonate with being a divine feminine. I am a divine feminine. But on my journey back to love, back to self-love, back to creating from a place of knowing my value, knowing my worth. I tip occasionally, now my hair's a mess, I tip occasionally into distortion. So I either become too feminine, where I'm in the distorted feminine too. I'm not talking about divine feminine. That's Empress energy all day long. It's trusting that you can create from a place of allowance and flow and love and nurturing and value, right? It's Venusian energy. But in distortion, it's victimization. It's feeling like you don't matter. You don't... God, I'm just making it worse. Sorry, guys. I was out in the wind and it blew my hair everywhere. So divine feminine energy, or feminine energy, feminine energy is either in divine energy, which is balanced, or distorted energy, which can be either or masculine or feminine distortion. So for me, for a while, I became overly independent. I didn't allow other people to help me, or I never asked for help. I didn't believe that I needed help. I was like, I can do this with, without, or in spite of anyone else. And so that becomes distorted masculine energy. It's like, I'm going to get on that hamster wheel and I'm going to put in those hours and I'm going to push and push and push and do and do and do. And then you're not in balance. Or you can fall into the other distortion, which is distorted feminine, where you are feeling victimized. You're feeling like you have to chase people's love by being a people pleaser, or by, saying yes to everything. It's like, yes, I can do that. Yes, I'll show up for that. Yes, let me help you with that. Yes, yes, yes. And then you feel depleted energetically because you're not in balance. Maybe I articulated that correctly. I hope. And so this video is for feminines, divine feminines. It's the rise of the divine feminine, who have found themselves stuck for a while in distorted masculine energy. Because the masculine energy right now is going through their awakening, their ascension, their karmic balancing. So, you're out of balance. They're out of balance. If you're sitting in the masculine energy, regardless of whether you're a divine feminine or masculine, if you're sitting in distorted masculine energy, you are being pushed by the retrogrades to balance and awaken, and to actually soften into the heart space. And so the masculines, if you resonate with being a divine feminine, then your divine masculine, your counterpart, your catalyst, has probably been in distorted masculine for a long time, right? It's like, I'm the breadwinner. All of the responsibilities land on me. I have to take care of the family. I have to take care of the business and finances. I have to take care of the man stuff and make it happen. And there's no space in my life for relaxation, for allowing, for trusting, for listening to my intuition, for quieting the ego. Big boys don't cry. Big boys pull up their pants and get it done. How many women do you know who, upon awakening, have fallen into that distorted masculine energy of, I don't need a man, I don't need my twin, I don't need my person, I can do this, I don't need anybody, which is beautiful, it really is. But you have to be in balance, divine masculine, divine feminine energy in the heart space, where you know when to act and you know when to not act. You know when to ask for help and receive help, and you know when to buckle down and do it yourself. There's a balance between the doing and the non-doing, and the forcing and the flow state of non-action, non-forcing. You know, you can't push a river uphill, but distorted masculine will try all day, every day. And because they believe that that's the only way they're going to be happy or achieve or get what they want. And so I guess I want to say this video isn't just for feminines. It's for the masculines too. Although, as of now, I haven't really had any masculines that I know of or has worked with me thus far. Okay? Yes, I've got divine feminines, and I have a lot of those divine feminines that are stuck in distorted masculine energy, but they're still divine feminines, and I know that because I'm their reader and I've sat in their energy. So I'm going to read for those of you who are stuck, and it doesn't matter if you're divine masculine, divine feminine, distorted masculine, it's distorted masculine. I'm going to read for the distorted masculine, and that's why I'm here. Wow, that was a hell of a long intro, wasn't it? Leave my stuff alone. My little baby kitty, she's always, her name's Mischief. She's always into mischief. So it doesn't matter what your avatar is, and it doesn't matter with whether you resonate with being the divine feminine in the twin flame counterpart dynamic. What matters is this reading is for anybody who's sitting in distorted masculine energy, and hopefully it will find its way to awakening masculines, that they'll be like, oh, you know, I'm now seeking my spiritual awakening because my catalyst, my divine feminine, has mirrored back to me along with, you know, karmic justice. It's like their karmic relationships are ending, their jobs are ending, they're being pushed like the feminines were to find balance, to trust their intuition, to be able to be creative and not try to be forceful. And there's a lot of awakenings happening. So I'm hoping this video will find its way to the right people, whether it's divine masculine, divine feminine. It is for the purpose of balancing out distorted masculine energy. God. It's hard to channel when my son's out there mowing the lawn and the cat's bugging me, and you know, I came here with purpose and intention. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, but I'm having a hard time articulating it because there are distractions, which I think is purposeful. It's in the collective, right? We just had major karmic lessons, major karmic endings, major opportunities for new beginnings. And it's like, are we going to repeat an old cycle because we didn't learn the lesson, or are we going to try something different without fear of failure? Because failure is just practice. It's all it is. We're not always going to be successful. We might fail. But if you're not trying, if you're in stuck, distorted energy of trying to push the river uphill, it's time to find out why, right? Why? Why do I feel like I am unsupported? Like I can't trust my intuition. I can't trust that the world supports me, and that God supports me, and that I am divinely protected. Why do I feel like everything is my responsibility and I'm failing at it? Right? All right, so let's just see. For anybody sitting in distorted masculine energy, Spirit, what do we need to know? Listen, quit hitting me with your tail. Anybody sitting in distorted masculine energy, What do they need to know to free themselves, to heal themselves, to find balance and continuity without force? You know, no more wars, no more fighting, no more trying to be forceful. And of course, we've got the Two of Cups. In the light attribute, too. So Spirit's saying, well, you need to be in union. You need to be in partnership. You need to be in balance. You know, your cup, your masculine cup within you and your feminine cup within you need to be in harmony with one another, in accordance, in agreement. As within, so without. So, you know, we have to balance the inner masculine and feminine and find union within us before we can create it externally. Because a lot of these people are sitting in pain right now. How do you want to receive? Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups in the light attribute. And I'm hearing an old song that I haven't heard in years in my head. And I don't know the name of it. If you know it, you can drop it in the comment section. But it's, do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Where are you going to? Do you know? So, Nine of Cups. Do you know what you want? And it's funny, but back when I first awakened and my twin flame came back into my life and barely participated, by the way, barely participated, and yet triggered me. You'd have thought that he was on the phone creating triggers left and right all day long, telling me this and telling me that and showing me this and showing me that. But he didn't. He barely participated. And yet he was such a huge catalyst for me to look at the things I couldn't see within me. And the very first thing when I got my divorce, when I left my karmic, and I got my divorce, was I was channeled a reading from a friend of mine. And she brought me a message about the Nine of Cups. It's like, listen, the Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. But the Seven of Cups is, I don't know what to wish for. The Eight of Cups is literally leaving your comfort zone to go toward it. And the Nine of Cups is, I know what I want, and I know how to get there. And now I'm ready to receive it. And so with the Two of Cups and the Nine of Cups, it's kind of like Spirit saying, can you just look at, can you just stop? And I apologize, my son's going to come in. There's two, him and one of his friends, and they don't care if I'm recording, so they'll just bust in and talk on camera. Hopefully he's got more work to do and he won't come in yet. This isn't going to be a long channeling. It already is. It's 18, 19 minutes in. But what I feel like Spirit's saying is, what would union look like? What would it look like? Do you even know what you would want? What does a healthy, balanced, loving life in partnership look like? Because if you can't create it in here, you will never conceive it out there. And so do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Do you know even what you want? And I think a lot of, at least from the experience I've had in the last couple of days of my clients getting a hold of me, you know, these are clients, and if you're watching, you know who I'm talking about, but there are like 3 of you going through it right now, who are and have been really, Jesse, I told you I was recording.
Okay, when did Jimmy get a brand new set of drums?
today.
Did it?
Yeah. Get you guys a juice or a pop. Hey, hand me one of those pops, will you?
Go ahead and do it.
I am. Anyhow, the 3 clients that have gotten a hold of me, they were resisting the ugly cry, the breakdown, the mental, physical, emotional breakdown. The purge is what I call it. What is a purge? A purge is when you allow yourself to not be strong. When you allow yourself to just be weak. And be weak without judgment. Be weak without shame. You know, it's okay to be triggered. It's okay to feel abandoned. It's okay to feel like everything you do is never enough. And it's okay that you've been pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to force that river to go uphill. But can you allow yourself to sit in maybe even distorted feminine energy just for a little while, to grieve and release all of the expectations, all of the things you've been fighting for, with non-judgment, and just grieve it. Grieve all of the times that you were a child and you tried and you tried and you tried, and nobody appreciated it, nobody noticed, nobody validated you. Can you just grieve all of the hard work and determination you put into saving and sacrificing and trying to heal and save a marriage that wasn't, or a partnership or a job or anything really that just wasn't working out? It just, you know, no matter how much you fought, no matter how much you tried, no matter how hard you worked, all it did was deplete your energy and make you feel weak. And so you have to know what it is that you're fighting for and why. Do you know where you're going to? Because the masculine energy and distortion right now is really being squashed by spirit. The walls are moving in and the towers are falling, and the relationships that they fought so hard to salvage because they didn't want to be a failure, or they didn't want to be judged by their parents, or they didn't want to be divorced like their parents, or they didn't want to be looked upon as being weak. What have you created in distorted masculine energy, and did you even want it? And at the end of the day, did it ever fulfill you? Did it ever just fill your cup? Or did it always elude you like smoke? You know, I couldn't please my father. I wasn't good enough for my boss. My hard work and determination went unnoticed, and some of my projects failed. And I find myself fighting for things that don't fight for me. And I find myself feeling responsible for taking care of the family. You know, the masculine worries about the family. Feminine does too. But the feminine takes it a step beyond the family and tries to heal the entire world, right? We're the nurturers, the mothers. We want to fix everybody. And so it doesn't matter whether you're a feminine or a masculine, but if you're struggling to surrender into a balanced place emotionally and allow yourself to be weak, to fail without judgment. Just allow it. It's like, okay, so I tried, and I tried really, really hard, and it just didn't work out. So what are we clinging to? Why are we clinging to it? You know, if you're an awakening divine masculine and you just recently went through a huge, huge life-changing event where everything that you were fighting for, working for, responsible for, just kind of got pulled out from under you and failed, you know, it's time for you to look at, was it even something you wanted? Why did you fight so hard for it? Was it for you, or was it because your dad said you would never amount to anything? Or, you know, if you resonate with being a feminine, is it because men never showed up for you? You know, your dad never took care of you. Your chosen partners in life, your boyfriends or your husbands or your mates, you know, because it's non-gender specific, just never really helped shoulder the load or contribute to the cause. And so, are you trying, or have you been trying, to do it alone, to do it all by yourself? And if you have, and you're failing, there's purpose in that. And maybe it's time to just let yourself have that failure. And understand that rejection is God's greatest protection. And that maybe, just maybe, you were trained or programmed in the old traditional beliefs to be something that you truly aren't. And for reasons that were theirs, not yours. Like, why? Why am I doing this? You know? Well, because I'm trying to please my parents, or I'm trying to please society, or I'm trying to live up to societal standards. All of those standards, by the way, are failing. Because we're in a new age, in a new energy. And Spirit is crumbling the foundations that weren't sound in your life, personally, in your job, personally, in your relationships, personally, in the collective, non-personally, but still pretty damn personally. Are you watching governments fail? Are you watching big pharma implode on itself? Are you watching hidden motives and programming becoming obvious? And are you questioning why? And are you ready to create change by allowing yourself to fail? Failure is just practice. That's it. That's all it is. It's an experience meant to grow us, to evolve us. So, what else, Spirit? What else does distorted masculine need to hear right now in order to purge, heal, transmute? I'm hearing transmute. I think, you know, we've got 2 cups on the table. I think there's a lot of emotions. All right, so we've got the Page of Pentacles in the shadow attribute. Okay, this book, by the way, I'm hearing in my head, represents tradition, programming. It is law. It is written. And so there's no abundance here. The tree and plant life is barren. There's shadows. There's clouds covering the sun. And the pentacle that the page is supposed to be planting for the future is being archived. In the light attribute, There's lessons learned and there's new beginnings, new seeds to be planted. But this is like, this seed needs to be archived. It needs to go into the Akashic records as failure. The trees didn't grow, the sun didn't shine, the seed went to pot. It never, ever flourished. And there's a lesson in that about where you invest and how you invest and why you invest, and can you allow failure without judgment, and look at it as a life lesson instead of, because it's part of the Akashic records, it's being archived. It's like, I'm learning and I'm evolving because I learned what doesn't work for me in order to discover change and to create change so that I can figure out what does work for me. 9 of Cups. There's that pentacle right there in the light attribute. This one is bigger. It has more potential and it's abundant. It's in the light attribute. If you look at the picture, there's this like laurel wreath, I think. And so that's victory. That's, let me take that pentacle and transplant it. Why am I hearing transplant it? It's time to transplant some of these seeds of potential into fertile soil where they actually have an opportunity to grow. But in order to do that, you know, there's a bee up here. It needs to be pollinated, cross-referenced. And there's something that needs to be let go of. You know? You need to let it go. Release it. Grieve it, is what I'm hearing. Ooh, and we got the Chariot in.